Welcome to the Anatomy of Therapy. I'm Dr. John Sobolski. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Graham.
That's great. Graham and I are going to be watching Movement by David today. 3 abilities that life was harder without. Let's play it.
Life was harder without these 3 more abilities. The ability to sit comfortably on your shins, which basically means you have really healthy ankles and knees. And next, the ability to LSIT, which means if you end up getting knocked over, you have the strength to pick yourself back up. And lastly, the ability to pistol squat, which means no matter what happens, you will still have the ability to get up off of the floor. Stay flexy.
Man, okay, so life was harder before knee and ankle health, before core strength, and pistol squat capabilities. He's doing 4 things. Again, he said 3, we're doing 4. You get any bonus one today. Let's talk about knee and ankle health. The sitting on your ankles and your knees needs to be far more ubiquitous. You were saying, I think
So you can make the argument a lot of different things that people can or can't do. I think every single person should be able to hang, and every single person should be able to sit on their ankles. Like, I can't think of any biomechanical, physiological reason that someone couldn't sit on their shins.
Well, I will tell you that, but it's also just important because it puts when you first start doing it, your feet will go numb, your knees will feel weird. But if you could stick with it, if you can put a little towel behind, spending time in this knee bent position is so important. People's knees get hurt and they don't know why. It's the number one reason you have knee pain is because you cannot comfortably flex your knee to 90 degrees. Okay. So the number one way to get out of knee pain, the easiest way to get out of knee pain is to be able to flex your knee to 90 degrees. Now, I'm not saying there are other things to get out of knee pain, but if you can't
90 degrees, do you mean 180 degrees?
100, flexed all the way back. Yeah, heel to butt.
That seems like 180. I think
180. Yeah. Or I guess it would be 0 almost, but your leg folded all the way back, like him.
Life was harder without these 3 more abilities. The ability to sit comfortably
like this. Okay, be able to sit this way, and then also be able to bounce
on your shins, which basically means you have really healthy ankles and knees.
Okay, I told you had healthy ankles and knees, but look, being able to hold yourself up like this is
crazy.
It's crazy. Okay, it's not that crazy. You can actually do it because you can use your hands to help push you up. You could probably, I don't know. Look, might be worth it if you spent a month doing this every day before your leg day. If you just did it 3 times a week, sat there and pushed yourself up, like Graham is working on now, making the weirdest faces. Yeah, it sucks at first, but it is so beneficial to have the front of your ankles open, to be able to flex your knees like this. It fixes so many things. And that's what my book goes over. What are some other important things that you need to have in your body that you should be working on? This is one of those things you should be working on. 8 chapters of things you should work on.
What you're saying is you could watch 8-minute-long videos from David and get the same value as reading 8 full chapters.
No, wait. David, actually, he is a legend. Okay, so that's ankle and knee health. Let's talk about what does he say about core health.
And next, the ability to LSIT, which means if you end up getting knocked over, you have the strength to pick yourself.
Yeah, you can pick yourself up is obviously the key, but the LSIT is impressive too. It is something, dude. There are some, you know what? Maybe this week I will put some videos on Instagram about how to work on the LSIT regressions, because LSIT regressions got my abs crazy strong. It's a lot of calisthenic stuff. You have to use a lot of bands, which I know you love bands. I know you love doing weird stuff in the gym. But yeah, LSIT regressions are some of the hardest work ever. It just takes, you have to be patient. You have to be I'm working on the LSIT for the next 6 months. And I'll tell you, I thought I was going to work on the LSIT for 6 months. I worked on it for 2 months and my abs were so strong. I'm stopping. I don't even need to do the LSIT. You get to a whole new level of your abs. It's crazy. I'll post it on my Instagram this week. Or check out Graham's. He's going to do some core stuff too. Right, buddy?
We could do a collaboration.
Okay, we'll do a core. Actually, we did a core collab that I accidentally deleted a long time ago.
I was wondering where that went.
Dude, it was a good one. Okay, so core strength. Actually, there's another video that David does on core strength. He does it on usable versus visible core strength. And I think we're going to do an episode on that later. So come back if you're interested in more core specific work. I think he has a little routine that's really good, and I've actually used it, but I didn't know I was using it. Anyways, we'll talk about that in
Life
another
was
episode.
harder before
You
these
also-
3 things.
You can't also ignore the fact that he did this.
Life was much harder before.
Hey, David. The LSIT hold he did, where he's like, there's a ton of shoulder strength. You got to press down into that and hold yourself up. Like,
Life was harder.
Dude, it's really impressive. The core, he talks about core compression and core expansion, which is a really good way to think about it. But we'll do that in another episode, okay? And lastly, last thing.
And lastly, the ability to pistol squat, which means no matter what happens, you will still have the ability to get up off of the floor.
Okay, tragedy is around the corner for David, but you know, things do happen. But like, so pistol squat. How's your pistol squat, man?
If it's on a slant board, I can do them easily both sides. If it's on flat ground, I can do it with my right leg. My left's not as strong. But it's funny because my pistol squat, the limitation is not the strength; it's the hip flexor strength. Or it's not. Sorry, it's not like leg strength. It's the hip flexor. Be able to keep that other leg straight. The LSIT. It's like it's sneaky because you think it's hip flexor, but it's also getting that quad to flex and get the leg straight. That's real tough. That's
it really is. Dude, I'll tell you the secret that I worked on that made my pistol squat so much better was that I used to live in Austin, Texas, and there are these hills in Austin. My driveway was on a hill, and I used to like do duck walks down the hill on pistol squats. So like
Really?
it was obvious, and then my hill was like went from more intense to less slanted. So like I would start at the top of my hill, pistol squat there, and then walk downwards, and then do that rocking back and forth, because again, it's your center of gravity at the bottom of the pistol squat. Because you even said it, like you said, I could get up from my pistol squat if I shift my center of gravity. So really what you need to be working on is your center of gravity. Like if you're in the bottom of, like on a slant board, you need to be like shifting back and forth. Does that make sense? Like you need to be going back and forth. And then I would do it like all the way at the bottom and then pistol like a little higher up. So like start with a normal squat in the bottom of a, maybe on the slant board, and then just learn to rock back and forth. That's the trick. And so that's why like in the episode that literally we weren't recording, but we'll re-record in a second, I was talking about strengthening up your back and like good mornings and rounding your back forward. And so you'll even in that deep pistol squat, you can like work on rounding your back with a little weight on it. And it's just controlling your center of gravity through that hip. It's money. Also it's also money if you want to help people center their weight in their hips, doctors and clinicians. If you have chronic low back pain, one of the reasons is because you move too much through your back and you do not move through your hips. You cannot move your weight through your hips well. And so if you just even get a TRX, this is like entry level. If my back was hurting, I would get a TRX and go all the way down into the bottom of the squat and then take one leg out like a pistol squat like David is right now. And then with the TRX and the one leg, pull myself up and use as much of the leg as I could and not my hands. But I would use as much hands as I needed to. Does that make sense? And then I would squat down on two legs, kick one leg straight, holding on the TRX, push your leg as much as you can and try not to use your hands. A couple of those in a rehab setting are magical because it teaches the person to move through their hips more than their back. Because when they're all the way in that bottom position, you can't really hyperextend your back. Does that make sense? You have to rely on the deep muscles of your hips. And so you use the assist of the arms or maybe like a pole, and then you slowly take away that assistance until you can do it on your own.
There you go. That's it. That's how it's done. That's it. Pistol squat masterclass.
Pistol squat masterclass. David is the best.
Have the ability to...
Which one was y'all's? Which one are y'all going to work on the most? Comment below. Go follow Graham, Barefoot Sprinter, on Instagram and all the other places and TikToks and stuff like that. Don't forget to pre-order the book. The link's below, obviously. And we have programs. I do online coaching now. You can book a session with me and I'll tell you exactly how to master your pistol squat.
There you go. Or you could just watch a video from David. And
I guess you don't need to book me anymore because you just watched a video from David. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Video.
See you next time for another great video. Bye, guys.
Your dry humor is unprecedented.
Thanks, dude.